Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we are going to be sharing with you all a very unpopular roller coaster opinion that we have. But before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss another video here on the channel. We are going to be visiting Japan soon, and we're going to have lots of videos from parks over there. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. Like we said, this opinion to many people is very unpopular and slightly controversial, so let us know down in the comments if you agree or completely disagree with us. In our opinion, Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain is an outstanding roller coaster, and we would go as far to say as it's one of the best in the park. No, this is not a joke, this is not a troll video, we actually believe this, and in today's video we'll be discussing why we believe this. Starting off though, let's take a step back and talk about why people don't like Viper. It really all boils down to it being rough. Viper opened in 1999 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It was designed by Aerodynamics, a manufacturer notorious for building rough, shaky, and jerky roller coasters. And no, do not get us wrong, Viper is a very, very rough roller coaster and very, very jerky. And to be quite honest, if you are at a certain height, there's going to be a lot of headbanging, it's going to hurt your ears. However, to us, that actually doesn't really matter. In our opinion, the roughness almost makes it more fun. Something that makes roller coasters so much fun is the out-of-control feeling that you get. And when a roller coaster is as rough as Viper's, you get that feeling to the extreme. It feels like the roller coaster is going to fall apart and that you're going to fly out of your seat and you're going through these crazy turns and these shaky elements. One way, in our opinion, to think about this is imagine a really sketchy or dangerous-looking ride at a carnival in some random place. This ride might be like a typical, Ferris wheel or Gravitron. However, because of how much it looks like it's going to break or just fall apart at any moment, it makes it so much fun and so much scarier. Whereas if you were to ride this ride at a typical theme park, it would not be scary. While Viper is an extremely safe and not dangerous ride at all, it's a similar way in that it's super duper rough and jerky and it slams you around everywhere, which makes it so much fun. It feels like this out-of-control monstrosity that's just going to throw you all over the place. Now, if you really don't like rough roller coasters, then it obviously makes sense why you wouldn't like Viper, and we do get that. We totally understand why people hate it. Just in our opinion, a rough roller coaster is not going to be something that will make us not like a roller coaster. While we obviously prefer a roller coaster to be smooth, a roller coaster being rough is not going to take that much away from it. Another way to think about it is Matterhorn at Disneyland. Matterhorn has very, very low stats. It doesn't go that fast. It's a really basic and sort of bland layout, and there really isn't that many interesting elements to it. In fact, there are practically no elements. However, it is this incredibly rough roller coaster that feels like it's just going to fall apart at any second. And that's what makes it just so much fun and feels so scary. But again, if you don't like roughness, then it makes sense why you wouldn't like Viper. Not to mention, if you look at Viper's stats, it has some pretty good height and speed. Viper stands at almost 200 feet tall at 188 feet, making it almost a hypercoaster. It has 7 inversions and reaches a speed of about 70 miles an hour. Most people would look at a coaster like this and think it is at least somewhat a good roller coaster, which is what we think too. Now, the entire ride is not perfect. There are definitely some pretty bad parts, like the loops are not incredible. They are very, very forceful, which is really fun, and a lot of the time you will gray out on those loops. However, in our opinion, that's not the best part of the ride. The best part is honestly the hang time. The restraints on Aerodynamics looping coasters are very, very minimal. All you have is a very, very basic shoulder harness that just pushes down over your shoulder. There's no lap part, there's no piece in between that separates your legs, which means that if you are a relatively tall person, which both of us are, you can just stick your head out and not get any of that head banging. Which means on those inversions, especially the batwing element, you're going to get loads of hang time. Those corkscrews as well, you take them relatively slowly, and so it feels like you are falling out of your seat as you go through those inversions. That first drop is also loads of fun. It's very, very fast. And one myth that we have heard countless times is the magic seat. Now, we're not entirely sure if this is true or not, but apparently there is this trick in the roller coaster enthusiast community, where if you sit in the front row of the second to last car of the train on an aero looper, you're going to get a smoother experience. Now, I don't know if this is just us, but we don't really get that. We've sit on almost every single row in Viper, and I personally have not noticed a difference. In fact, I will say that my favorite seat to sit in is actually the front row, is you actually get some very, very good airtime. Right when you are going into the mid-course brake run after the loop, you will go over a little hill, and if you are in the front row, you're going to get a ton of airtime. Now, interestingly, most of the time on roller coasters, being in the back row will provide a better airtime experience. However, on Viper, being in the front row is better because if you're in the back row, by the time you go over that hill, the front row will have already hit the block section and slowed down a ton. Whereas if you're in the front row, still going full speed, you're going to go over that hill relatively fast and get a good amount of airtime. And now to add on to the fact that the ride is a fun experience, there is almost always practically no wait. And I know when you're reviewing a roller coaster, you usually don't take into account external factors like wait time or queue. However, this definitely makes a difference. And when we're looking at the ride as a total, there is never a wait. Which means if you are at the park on a crowded day, a lot of the time, this ride will have 5-10 minute wait, which is always so much fun because then you end up waiting nothing for a really, really fun experience. When you're thinking about a roller coaster, you have to think of the benefits and the downsides, and most of the time the benefit is the roller coaster and the downside is the wait. However, with Viper, there's almost no downside with the wait. Now don't let us get ahead of ourselves. Viper is not the best ride in the park by any means, and it's probably not even top 5. However, we have seen reviews of Six Flags Magic Mountain ranking the top 10 roller coasters, and it's not even in the list. And we just think that Viper is an extremely underrated roller coaster that is so much fun. And for me personally, it is an always must ride when I go to Six Flags. I think in general, the main point that we are trying to make is that if you can see past the roughness of the ride, you can really appreciate how much fun it is. If you sort of embrace the fact that it is a rough roller coaster, it adds to the fun. Anyway, that's going to do it for our most controversial roller coaster opinion. Let us know down in the comments if you agree with us that Viper is a great ride or if you completely disagree and think we're crazy. Just remember that this is still just our opinion and something like roller coasters is completely subjective. But let us know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. Now quickly before I end the video, I just want to do a quick little announcement, and that is basically just a layout of what we're going to be doing in our trip to Japan. So on our trip, we are going to be visiting 3 different theme parks, and we are super excited for all of them. So first, we're going to be visiting the Tokyo Disney Resort. We're going to be going to both parks, Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. We're going to ride all the amazing rides that they have over there. We are super excited for that. Journey to the Center of the Earth looks like an amazing ride. We're going to have full reviews for all the rides there, as well as vlogs from each park. And later in our trip, we are going to Universal Studios Japan over in Osaka. We are super pumped for that. We're really excited to ride Flying Dinosaur and all the other great roller coasters that they have there. It's going to be loads of fun. Just like the Tokyo Disney Resort, we're going to have full vlogs and videos and reviews of everything that we do in Japan, so stay tuned for that. Also, just really quick, we want to apologize for the lack in post lately. We've been really busy with finals and schoolwork and everything going on. But starting after our trip, videos will be coming up regularly, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching today, and we will catch you in the next one.